Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and the freaking second that I decided I was going to record this video, my 8-year-old decides that that's the perfect time to go into his older brother's room and start a fight so that they could be as loud as possible. So I had to go in there and tell them to hush just so that I could record this video, the things I do for the audience here. So I mean, these kids. So we've obviously had blood in the streets this weekend. I'm no longer fazed by this kind of stuff because I know where this is all going, and I know how many times that I have witnessed these types of things, and especially involving China. I've seen this movie, I think, around 5 to 7 times so far, where the market goes like crazy, and then China comes out with this scary news piece that they're gonna somehow ban this or ban that, and then everything crashes, and then end of the world, and all the people who are just getting in this, they show up and they're like, oh, this is awful, I was wrong, and all that stuff. No, we're not wrong. I've been through this at least 5 to 7 times. I've seen this same type of cycle, but this time's different in my opinion, in that now everybody's ready. And so I don't believe this is the way it was in the past, where in the past, well, shoot, just look at 2017. That market was taken down, and we know it was taken down because and it wasn't just China. It was, I think a lot of the governments and the different countries were not ready in the 2017-18 run up. If you remember, Chris Giancarlo, we've shown you the article on this channel. They were literally instructed in the Trump administration to rein Bitcoin in, and that's when they created futures, and they literally took the market down intentionally. And that bear market lasted 2 or 3 years. I don't think that we're in that same place now. I think that they had 2 or 3 years to prepare for what they knew this industry was going to be. I think $1.6 trillion is peanuts. The $2.5 trillion that we got to, that's nothing compared to where this is going. Okay, and I'm going to further go through some of this. Now, Dark Defender showed this. He says, as I expected yesterday, XRP tried 130 and bounced back. Supports mentioned in the analysis are 93 cents, 88 cents, 78 cents, and can be retested today and tomorrow. These days will pass, and we'll be discussing our targets. And his targets, if you remember, are, let's see if they're on this chart. Yeah. His targets are $2.72 to $13.33, but so nothing's changed for him. Nothing's changed for me either. Now, this guy, Mark Yusko, is a really smart guy. Now, he's a Bitcoin maxi, but I think that's just him talking his book. I think he's a genuine guy, however, and I think that he's really smart. This guy, I think he went to Duke University. Very intelligent guy, but he lays out. Now he's talking about Bitcoin a lot. Ignore that. I want you to think in terms of the overall market with what he's saying here. This exchange they're having, because he is dead right about what he's saying here about where we are.
The average drawdown from a record high has been about 48%, and a series of higher lows. The numbers have gotten bigger. So it's more scary, I think, but this is actually not a new thing for crypto, is it?
No, not Brian. It's such a great set of stats and not new at all. Look, an asset that has compounded at 223% per year for 11 years has to have volatility. It has the same volatility as Amazon stock, 80%. And to your point on Bitcoin drawdowns, Amazon, every year in its 24 years of life, has had a double-digit drawdown, including this year. The average drawdown in Amazon stock is 31%, 5 times over 50%, twice over 90%. When was the right time to sell Amazon? That would be never. So volatility is not your enemy. It's your friend. You want volatile assets. Now, what you want is upside volatility. Downside volatility is painful. But over the long term, holding an asset that has volatility is the whole point of investing.
You know, I'm going to do what everybody else does, Mark. I'm going to blame the media, okay? Why not? I'm just going to throw it out there. If something goes from $11 to $5.25, $5, that's about a 53% drawdown. That doesn't get a lot of attention. But when something goes from 65,000 to 30,000, it's the same drawdown, but because the numbers are so much bigger, it's going to naturally get attention. As you pointed out in Fast Money, like 2 years ago, the key is the long term and the series of higher lows. Every time it falls to a higher low in Bitcoin. You still see that uptrend continuing, I assume.
Yeah, look, the real problem, Sully, and we've talked about this in the past too, is price is a liar, right? The price of an asset is not its value. The value of the asset is determined by the fundamentals. And the fundamentals of Bitcoin, of Ethereum, of cryptocurrency broadly, of blockchain technology broadly, are all increasingly getting better, and they're getting better at an accelerating rate. The price is what two people decide to exchange an asset for. And unfortunately, what happens is we go from investors buying things because they think the price is below the fair value to traders who buy things when prices move up or down, to speculators who buy things because the price is going up. And unfortunately, in the past year, we have a whole bunch of gamblers who got free money from the government who are buying things, and they're buying on leverage. And what happened in the last couple of days is a whole bunch of levered traders, people who were 20 times, 50 times, in some cases 100 times levered, got margin called. And they need to get flushed out. This is a healthy correction. We need this to get the money back to the investors, and assets flow to their rightful owners. If you're hitting the panic button selling today, think somebody is buying.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm buying. Actually, just so you know, yesterday I bought some Stellar, some XLM, and I told you about my Ethereum thing in my IRA because I had limited, there was limited things I could buy. But this, I thought he really summarized what is really going on and a grown-up perspective. Here's another grown-up perspective. It's a good time to show this. I've shown this a bunch of times on this channel. This illustrates the psychology. It's the psychology of the market cycle, but it illustrates something else. I mean, I don't even think we're even close to where the maturation of this market. But one thing that's illustrated here are the down that even in up markets there are down days and weeks that happen, and this is an example of that here where it just drops. And then people are scared and all that. But if you think that crypto is just a $1.6 trillion thing and then that's just the end of it, you've lost your ever-loving mind. Okay, this is the headlines. Of course, the China thing. Bitcoin falls after China calls for crackdown. This will be about the 8th crackdown that China has called for, and it always happens to be when the market's red hot, by the way. Now, this is something a lot of you may not remember. This is from April 8th, Peter Thiel. And he came out of nowhere and said this on April 8th. With what we're seeing now, you can bet China is playing games with Bitcoin and crypto in general. Crypto has always been about a much bigger war, digital currency wars, reserve currency wars. Listen to what he says.
From China's point of view, they want to get, they don't like the U.S. having this reserve currency because it gives us, a lot of leverage over, Iranian oil supply chains and all sorts of things like that. They don't want the renminbi to become a reserve currency because then you have to open your capital account and you have to do all sorts of things that they really don't want to do. I think the euro, you could think of as, was in part a Chinese weapon against the dollar. It didn't, the last decade hasn't quite worked out that way, but that was, China would have liked to see two reserve currencies like the euro. And, even though I'm sort of a pro-crypto, pro-Bitcoin maximalist person, I do wonder whether at this point Bitcoin is also should also be thought in part of as a Chinese financial weapon against the U.S., where it threatens fiat money, but it especially threatens the U.S. dollar, and China wants to do things to weaken it. So it's sort of China is long Bitcoin, and perhaps from a geopolitical perspective, the U.S. should be a little bit be asking some tougher questions about exactly how that works. But some internal stable coin in China, that's not a real cryptocurrency. That's just that's just some sort of totalitarian measuring device.
Okay, so then you make no mistake, this is a war, and China is one of the lead manipulators. They have been for the 8 years I've been in this. But for those of you who haven't seen it, this is from November 20th, 2019. If you think that this is not a war over reserve currencies and a great reset and the changeover of the entire financial system, think again. Watch this. This was done at Harvard, November 20th, 2019. Listen to what they say.
Of a National Security Council's Principals Committee meeting at the White House. Our scenario takes place 2 years from today, on November 19th, 2021. We have simulated a world in which one big thing has changed. In March 2020, the People's Bank of China launched a sovereign digital currency known as the digital yuan.
We're hearing reports that North Korea may be using China's digital yuan currency to evade sanctions and purchase weapons material.
Well, the digital...
Okay, so they ran an entire simulation here, and I tell you all the time that there are no coincidences. There are not. That is Gary Gensler sitting at the table for these digital currency wars, and he is involved in the simulation, and he now runs the SEC, which is suing Ripple, and he now owns the lawsuit because the lawsuit continues under Gary Gensler. So make no mistake. You may say Jay Clayton's the bad guy, but he hasn't dropped the suit. And anybody who says that he doesn't have the power to drop the suit, you can think again. If you're the chairman, you're the head honcho. He could drop it today, he could drop it yesterday, but he has not. So it's all on Gary Gensler now as to how this goes down. Now, check this out. Remember the IMF? Remember all those meetings with Brad Garlinghouse? Listen to this commentary right here. This is from Lynette Zhang.
They are the world reserve currency. Easy transition. They've talked about having a retail SDR, which you and I would actually have access to, right, as well as a wholesale SDR, which is what governments and banks would have access to.
So you're under a
wholesale SDR. This was found by Ian Northing, and then he went and found some IMF documents. RippleNet is designed as a wholesale payment system. I mean, tell you what, but my point in all this is that there are a lot bigger things in play, and this ain't dog coin, folks. This is XRP. All right, this is not doggy coin and dog rocket to the moon. This is a bigger thing. This is for all the marbles. And I've always said on this channel, it's XRP and its brother sister XLM. Heo Seiko Carmona sent me this. This is from the Pope yesterday. And don't think for a second that the Pope does not have political leanings too. I mean, not the Pope himself, but weighs in on political things all the time. And so says technology based on the use of highly polluting fossil fuels needs to be replaced without delay. There is reason to hope that humanity at the dawn of the 21st century will be remembered for having generously shouldered its grave responsibilities. That comes out right in the middle of all this, folks. All right. Now, this is Jeremy Hogan. He's the official attorney who talks about the SEC Ripple case of the Digital Asset Investor channel. And that's not his, he didn't give himself that designation. I just did on this channel. So anyway, yesterday there was an SEC versus Ripple hearing, and here's the part I wanted you to hear.
We forgive you, Texas. In any case, what occurred over the next 45 minutes was the SEC attorney trying to argue that Ripple was attempting to really plead a good faith defense, which is a subjective test, and call it fair notice. And he really tried, to his credit. He didn't give up like probably I would have. But this takes us back to what we have learned about Judge Netburn from the MOU hearings and rulings. She is not going to let you have her follow breadcrumbs down that trail. This judge wants hard evidence, or she's not going to follow you on down that road. And I don't think she'll follow SEC down this road either. My prediction, motion denied. But two other more subtle, important things from this hearing that I want to tell you about. Like I told you before, I listen extremely closely to what the judges say. I don't really pay too much attention to the lawyers. And here's what I heard. The most important pending motion in this case is the SEC's motion to strike or throw out the fair notice defense. Now, that would be a big blow to Ripple if that happened. I listened when the judge described the defense itself. She said something to the effect that the defense is an issue of whether there was a lack of clarity on the SEC's part. It was exactly what I wanted to hear because it shows she has kind of bought into what the defense is all about. There are other ways you could say that, and because she chose to say it the way that Ripple probably would have said it, I would suggest that that is a good sign as to whether the fair notice defense will survive. Now, finally, the SEC attorney let out that the Ripple attorneys told him that Ripple intended to file for summary judgment on its fair notice defense in August. Now, this is even before the close of discovery, and it's much faster than I expected. And it makes me think they might even set the hearing on that defense for summary judgment before even the hearing on whether XRP is a security or not. A Ripple victory at that hearing would, of course, end the whole case. Would XRP have clarity then? Well, yes and no. XRP's status would not, but no one could be sued after that by the SEC because then there would be case precedent that no one had fair notice anyways. So you could say it's potato, I could say it's potato, but anyway, there would be no more actions by the SEC on this issue.
All right, so there's that. And then BNY Mellon put this out. How about this? They did a part one with Rosie Rios, who just joined the Ripple board. And I've talked about BNY Mellon on this channel a lot, and I'll talk about it again. I've thought that BNY Mellon was in this Ripple thing from the very beginning. I can show you this article from November 14th, 2016, BNY Mellon reinventing payments from Ripple's website. We've seen BNY Mellon, I think BNY Mellon was working on this digital currency thing a long time ago. We also saw this announcement back in February of this year from BNY Mellon. BNY Mellon announces crypto custody and SPY's integrated services. The world's biggest custodian bank beats rivals JP Morgan and Citi to the punch. And we also know that Polysign has two guys that are retired BNY Mellon executives, and the people like Arthur Brito and David Schwartz come from Ripple. They were involved in creating the XRP ledger, and then they happen to be at Polysign, which is going to be the back end for crypto custody for all kinds of financial institutions. And I think that BNY Mellon is one of those. That is just my guess. Now, yesterday, Mark Phillips tweeted this. He says, wow, Link2 just listed another batch of private Ripple shares, and they sold out in seconds. Less than a minute. Sounds like it's like huge demand for this company. What do people know? And that's exactly what I thought too. Yesterday they listed the Ripple shares on Link2's platform. It sold out. It was like within a minute, seconds or minute, right? So anyway, this is their website. And by the way, this is for accredited investors only. And I've got links to in the description where you can go to their website or download the app on your iPhone or on your Android, and you can go through the process of getting accredited, and then you can buy this private equity. This is big time stuff. I'm doing it myself. And also I wanted to end this by showing you guys something. This is Shane Nixon. I met him in Singapore when I was in Singapore for Swell, Ripple's Swell 2019. Had beers with the guy, very nice guy. As I recall, he's from Canada, and his son has autism, and so he's doing. I remember back a few years ago when they had the ice bucket challenge, and I can't remember if that was for autism too, or it was from. I can't remember exactly what, but anyway, you remember everybody was going around on the internet and everybody would have a bucket of ice water poured on them, and it went viral. I think that's what they're trying to do here. So let's help them do it. And he's trying to get this hashtag going, hashtag Spend for Autism, and you can donate at isand.ca. And let's finish this off by watching him. This is what you do in this challenge.
So here we go. You can count for me, Gail.
One.
Oh.
2, 3, 4.
I'm going to do it this time.
5.
Here he goes.
6. One more, babe. 7. And go. Sprint. Sprint.
I think this is a pretty fun idea right here to watch us all fall down online. I'm a digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family to go follow Shane Nixon. It's at Shane NIXY11, and you can follow his videos. His son's posted videos as well. So do that for the guy and go donate. I'm by the way, I'm not involved in the donations at all. I'm just passing the word along. That's all. I don't do those not because I don't want to help people, but just because I don't want anybody, when you're collecting money like that, for me, it's kind of a thing I don't want to get involved with. I don't want people pointing fingers at me and saying, yo, you took this or whatever. But anyway, go help the guy out. Thank you for watching.